Let me begin this video by saying Mac Jones deserves some serious praise for his play so far this year, especially with what he did to the Browns defense. And now with the Patriots beating the Falcons and getting to 7-4, he deserves to be in contention for Rookie of the Year. And if you didn't already know, I've been high on Mac Jones since the beginning. Before he was even drafted by the Patriots, I was on video saying he had traits eerily similar to Tom Brady, and he could use those traits to succeed in the NFL. I didn't care much for him not being able to move outside the pocket because I could see his great footwork inside the pocket. There was quick decision making and great judgments, and the best thing I liked about him was that he's a bit of a psycho when it comes to getting things right and improving from his mistakes. So you may be thinking that I'm going to spend the rest of this video talking about how I was right and all those people calling him a bust were wrong. But that's just not the case. Because although I remain high on Mac Jones, what I've been hearing from the media these past few weeks, well, it's gotten just a bit out of control. I just want to play you an audio clip from the Rich Eisen show.
Mac Jones, I'm going to say this, and I mean it. And anybody who sits there and goes, well, you're crazy, can't see it for what I'm seeing it. Mac Jones, right now, over this 4-game win streak, is operating this offense as good as Tom Brady did. He is, I'm saying it.
In like 2004?
Of course not. I'm talking about just in general over the last few years. I'm not talking about like, say, in 2007. I'm talking about this looks like the Patriots offense when Brady was operating it at a high level.
So basically, Rich Eisen said that what Mac Jones is doing looks like the Patriots offense in, call it 2017, 18, 19, Brady's last few years there. And this is why I had to start off this video by saying that I've been a Mac Jones guy since before the draft. But there is no way in hell that he is currently operating the Patriots offense at the level that Brady did. Brady pretty much completed 6 PhDs in the Patriots offense. Mac Jones just got an A in his first semester of his master's program. He's done well overall and he's been effective, but if you were to throw him right now into Brady's PhD program, he'd be struggling. This is where people need to see the difference. Mac Jones has exceeded expectations this year, but those expectations were for a rookie. If Brady were to have done what Mac has done this year, then people would be calling it the end of his career, saying he finally fell off the cliff. So for Rich Eisen to say that Mac is operating at Brady's level, it's just like, what are we doing? Now the comments to this video were just about as outrageous as the take itself. You have all these people trumpeting about how Rich Eisen is a diehard Jets fan and that's how you know he's right and Mac Jones is really the next Tom Brady. And besides that not making much sense because Eisen has been a media member for a decade where they're drilled in the head to, leave their biases out the door, there's also this. Rich Eisen and Bill Belichick are really good buddies. I mean, Belichick has even surprised Eisen in the booth at the Combine, and they did the NFL 100 show together. Don't you think it's possible that Eisen would rather praise his buddy Belichick than take a stance against his potential childhood dislike of the Patriots? Something that also, by the way, has seemed to help him in his career as he's one of the very, very limited people in the media to get exclusive access to interviews from Belichick. Mac Jones' success directly affects Bill Belichick's legacy because what Tom Brady just did last year made the world think there wasn't anything special about the Patriots and Belichick. So now Belichick is fighting back that narrative by winning with Mac Jones. The more the media talks up Mac Jones, the better look for Belichick. From a production standpoint, it's certainly fair to say Jones has been far better than the rest of the rookie class. Obviously, he's gone to a better team than the Jaguars, Jets, and Bears. You can even throw in the Texans if you want to include Davis Mills. But the Patriots haven't been perfect by any means in giving Jones the best situation. In fact, most of the time when Mac struggles, it's because the O-line has let him down. I know every high-pick rookie quarterback ever has had that excuse, but it'll always be somewhat of a valid excuse. I'm trying to say that Mac isn't just producing right now because he's on a better team. He's also producing because he's straight up good. Right now as a rookie, which is really impressive. So what I think is we don't have to slam the brakes on this Mac Jones praise, but maybe just give the brakes a little tap. Because just like I wasn't ready to say he was a bust when he would throw for 0 touchdowns behind a shaky O-line and receivers new to a system who are failing to get much separation, and don't forget the handcuffed play calling, I'm also not ready to say he's anywhere near the level of Tom Brady. And that doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback or won't become a great quarterback. It's just that Brady has been lapping the competition for years now, so it's hard to compare anyone to him. Even if Mac Jones has the career of a Matt Ryan, that's still a massive win in my eyes when you look at the odds of what you're bound to get in the draft. I mean, Matt Ryan won an MVP and he's nowhere near the level of what Tom Brady was and is. So to even come close to discussing that just isn't right. It isn't fair. Even Drew Brees became one of the most accurate and best decision-making quarterbacks of all time, and he still came out with 1/7 of the championships that Brady has accumulated. So let this video be a message to Rich Eisen. You are wrong about Mac Jones. It's kind of laughable to compare what Mac Jones is doing right now to what Tom Brady could do with this offense. If you want to compare Mac to Brady exclusively in his first year starting, then I'll listen. But Eisen took that a step further. Oh yeah, and I should mention, if we are going to compare Mac to Brady, the first year starter, then can we please not pretend like they're playing in the same era? That's an important thing to remember when you hear people comparing the stats. Brady led the league in touchdowns in his second year starting, and that number was 28 touchdowns. I think he already has like 27 this year. This league is much different than it was back then. The only real constant is championships, because you can't change how many of those are given out per year. So going back to what I've said in the past, Mac Jones is gonna draw Brady comparisons because they play and act similar to one another. What's unfair is to compare his success to Brady's success. That doesn't mean Mac won't be successful. The dream for Patriots fans was for Mac to be the Steve Young to Joe Montana. Sure, Young didn't win as many championships as Montana, but he was still a Hall of Famer. Obviously, it's too early to tell if Mac will ever even sniff the Hall of Fame, but I think we can agree that we've all liked what we've seen so far. The one thing I ask is to not get carried away and start comparing him to PhD Brady. Not only is that not fair, but it just sounds stupid. And that's all for today, folks.